Right, so we're going to move on now to the PWI Young Achiever Award. While I'm talking, I'll ask Julian and Mark to come up to the stage again. The Young Achiever Award is, I think, without question, the best award in rail. I've been very fortunate over the last, I don't know how long, Julian, 6 or 7 years, to be part of the judging panel along with Julian and a number of other colleagues. It's awesome. There's a lot of people in the room that are over 35. How many people are under 35? Got a few? If you haven't already, you should seriously consider applying for this award. It is an amazing award. The value's gone up. What is it now? 12,000?
You had to wait and see.
Oh, sorry, I'm stealing Julian's thunder.
12,000, yeah.
Wow, okay. Anyway, really awesome prize. We love listening to people come and talk to us about the amazing stuff they've done. I won't steal any more of your thunder, Julian. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Look, before I start, thanks to the PWI for making me an honorary life member. It's funny because I review the slide packs with Stephen Nomosky, so he had to keep removing those slides when I was reviewing them because it was a real shock. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the PWI Young Achiever Award before we get into the winners. Yes, as Matt said, it is now 12,000. It was 10,000 for many years. Mike, I can't remember how long it was for, but ever since you started it probably. And we had no inflation, but it's about time we did up it, but also we've got support now from the AMU, which is fantastic. So that's allowed us to increase that to 12,000. Normally goes towards an international rail conference. Everyone thinks of Intertrans, but there are others. Liam Turbott's just recently gone to Japan for one, because he goes to Intertrans all the time as part of work, so he wanted to do something different. Applicants, yes, under 35 from the 1st of January of the year, and also in recognition by the rail industry, as most of you will know, for those who were at the ARA Awards recently, the winner is announced at that as well and gets the opportunity in front of the whole rail industry to be announced. And this year we had 11 applicants, which is excellent, one more than last year. We were in the realms of small numbers, and even one year, Mike, I remember we didn't think there was a winner, did we, if we remember right? But it's a great process. Just quickly about Intertrans, which I went to last year, like some of you probably did. We did have 3 winners attend Intertrans last year. We sort of had a bit of a bunch up because of COVID, so they couldn't travel, but Mel Bowden, Chris Wills and Benson Wong all went last year. Abdul went for a second time with John Holland, and James Dowsad used his 2,000 of highly commended to go as well. So we had lots of young people, and I'm hoping for a few more next year, including the winner of this year. I'm sure she will. It's a great time. Just quickly on the judges, so myself, Dave Spiteri, Rebecca Coffey, Lee Taylor, Anna Matt Jones, and David Redbotham. So probably after one more for next year, but yeah, we enjoy it. It's busy when we get lots of applications, which is fantastic. Just quickly, we have a criteria in relation to the points and the weighting. I'm not going to read through that, but it is, yes, relevance to PWI, but also infrastructure. The technical excellence is obviously important, and also the quality of the paper and or the presentation. So, we want to be able to read these things. I don't necessarily want GPT, but I want something technically which is good. So we have a high, requirement. And as we've continued from last year, we have a 2-stage process. So yes, we all read the papers and we mark the papers and we shortlist that, because we really want to be seeing the candidates, having an interview, getting them to answer questions, put them under a bit of pressure, which is not a bad thing, but also see what they're like and see how they interact with the judges. So we do that again, and it works really well. A bit more time for the judges, but we really do enjoy seeing the candidates face to face. And as I said, yeah, this year was announced at the Australasian Railway Association Awards on the 17th of September this year. Numbers good, 11 submissions received. And these were from a number of people there. I'm not going to read everybody out there, but we got a good mixture of people. And although it's a New South Wales award, I don't mind taking presentations or applications from around the country, in fact, which sort of links a little bit to the national side. And it's important that our young people get the opportunity, not just that they live in New South Wales. But we had a real good number of people, which is excellent. From that 11, we shortlisted then to 4 people. So the 4 shortlists were Drew Garcia from Siemens, who gave us a presentation on the next generation vehicle equipment measuring system, so development of an automated visual inspection system. We also had George Davis from Sydney Trains, at the time, Infrastructure Performance, the Rail Repair Plan and Reliability Engineering. Nilesh Patel from KBR on the Velostrail level crossing type approval. And lastly, TFAM from John Holland about the Botany Rail duplication, freight expectations, tight deadlines. So it was some hard judging, I feel. It was a good year this year, and sometimes it's really tough. We had some really great, presentations, and great to see those young people come to us on time, which is always important. And they have 40 minutes, so that's it. What we did decide to do, because it was, some really good people, we decided to award a highly commended, which we don't always do, but if we feel that it's relevant, then we do. So we did award a highly commended, and I'll ask Mark to now announce the highly commended.
Thanks, Julian. Just before he does that, I just want to say our PWI Young Achievers Award is, to me, probably the most satisfying thing that we do in the PWI. It gives us that great opportunity to see all the young people that are coming through. And I've got to thank John Hollands. You've won it quite a few times, John Hollands. So all the other companies out there, you guys need to put in applications. We saw a lot of nice young people yesterday at the ARTC Provisioning Centre, so I'll get on to Wayne. Wayne should be pushing to see some of those people up there. But anyway, great opportunity to get away. And what I found is, if you have a look back through the probably 15 years we've been running this Young Achievers Award, all of those people have gone on to great things. So it's an amazing opportunity, particularly to go, to somewhere like Intertrans and actually see what the world's all about. Those people have all gone well if you look at the history over the years. So the highly commended for 2025 goes to George Davis. Well done, George.
Thanks, George. And then we obviously get to the winner, so I'll let Mark announce the winner as well.
Great expectations again, I suppose. So the winner is Tai Farm. Thank you.
So T's going to tell us a little bit about her project. Yeah, look, she's another John Holland winner, so yeah, we do need some others.
Oh, do I move this down? Yep.
Oh, you got the clicker for me.
I've got the clicker, yep, okay. Hello everyone. Julian did definitely set me up for this. I've presented this once. I had to condense it to, 20 minutes last time, and I barely made the cut. And he's asked me to now cut it down to, 10 minutes? So I'm going to cheat a little bit. There's a 5-minute video, so I'm hoping it will explain a lot of it. Oh, actually I haven't gone next yet. Okay. So my presentation was predominantly on the Botany Rail duplication, a project between ARTC and John Holland. Freight expectations, tight deadlines, talks pretty clearly on what was really what I was dealing with. So for people that aren't aware of what the project is, it is a, it is a 2.9 kilometre duplication of the existing freight line from Port Botany all the way to Mascot. It was a construction of 4 new bridges, including demolitions of existing bridges and new bridges, and a whole bunch of new track and signalling infrastructure. To be honest, the key scope in this is predominantly structures. However, working in a brownfield heavy rail environment, the key issues we generally had was making sure that the rail side of project understood what everyone else's scope was. So modification of the existing bridge required a significant modification of the existing train lines and signalling infrastructure to facilitate midweek construction. So piling, earthworks, drainage, civil works, and of course track work, CSR, signalling, testing, commissioning. There were 14 key possessions between January 2022 to January 2024. However, the first 4 possessions were critical to enabling the project, again, for midweek construction. I will be focusing on the 2 5-day possessions in 2023, which was all to do around with the major bridge construction works and also signalling of the Port Botany yard. So again, like I said, the first few possessions of 2022 was predominantly stage works. Again, challenges was to complete all works within the scheduled possession. So staging was vital, so understanding what everyone's preference was, their methodology, their construction, sequencing, because ultimately I had to move all their stuff out of the way to do that. So the reason why we did all that was to set us up for success in January of 2023 and in October 2023, which was vital for the 5-day possessions. Again, talking about Botany Yard and final commissioning. An example of this, these pictures here is in weekend 7, weekend 15, which was predominantly all the earthworks that we did in Port Botany. So again, I think we moved about 5,000 tonnes of spoil and material to do all the foundation works prior to even doing any track works. Talking quite selfishly, in weekend 9 of 2023, we did have a 5-day possession, and the key thing for us was to commission Botany Yard as a priority so that we can mitigate any risks to our final commissioning event when we hand over to ARTC. However, even though we had 5 days, a 5 full-day possession, the track works that was involved, we only had 60 hours to complete our work. 60 hours of 8 point ends to complete and about 3.4 kilometres of realignment that we had to complete. Involved with that, we had about 4,800 man hours worked in that weekend. We double and tripled our tampers on multiple shifts to ensure we met that program, and we completed 188 welds. So I'll show the video, but you'll see that there's 2 separate sides. This side that you'll see is Banksia, which was traditional dual lift or triple lift with front end loaders, and on the other side, which is what we call Kellogg's, works were completed with PEMLEMs. And again, the nature of the work that we had, the restrictions that we had was what was driving our methodology. I think it was pretty impressive to see that within what we could achieve within 60 hours. I know there was key people, even within John Holland, that was quite impressed on the technicality, the execution, and how time pressured we were. So I felt quite proud when, the Malgarish and the Rays of the world gave us a bit of a pat on the back. So that was really great to see. And then these are probably after we finished our 60-hour shutdown in Port Botany. Our whole team then migrated down to the bridge. So again, talking about this 5-day shutdown, they were demolishing an entire bridge and building a second bridge. So as part of that, we had to strip all the works, all the track works, redo all the earthworks, and reinstate the track. So there was an additional 200 metres of track reconditioning. We had to strip and reinstate, install ballast mat over Union Street Bridge, and tie in. So understanding how we were tying into the existing alignment and also constructing a brand new alignment. There was multiple stage works to ensure that we maintain single trains running, because at the end of the day, our permanent design was for a duplicated track. There was always going to be multiple interim periods for ARTs to maintain their trains running. So again, during this time, we did use 4,500 tonnes of ballast, reused 2,000 tonnes of ballast from previous possessions. So I think that was quite impressive given the 24 hours that we had left over once the structure itself was complete. In weekend 17, so 21st, 22nd of October, we did install 2 1 in 15 crossovers and also completed a 180 metre track recon. It was a very tight program. We adopted a detailed construction methodology with PEMLEMs where possible, and we dual lifted where possible. And again, because we had a existing train line that we had to maintain, the safe working process and our safe working team facilitating all our stage construction works midweek was crucial to meeting these milestones. Again, installing 2 new crossovers, 560 metres of, or actually mostly 800 metres of permanent track works, about 1.2 kilometres of tamping, 78 wells, 2,600 tonnes of ballast, 930 tonnes of capping, about 3,200 man hours. So having a little girl kind of tell the supervisors and all the track labourers and the SIGLEX what to do was very, very fun. And then come to weekend 30. So weekend 30 was a massive milestone for the project, not only for John Holland, for ARTC as well. So weekend 30 was our final commissioning possession. The final piece of our project was actually straight railing the existing 790 set of points. So again, at Cooks River Loop, it went from 3 tracks down to 1 initially. So that single turnout was very critical at the time for the trains to run. So doing a straight rail there, we then also had to then go through, walk the entire track of the entire alignment, removed a whole bunch of glue joints, straight rail an additional catch point, to then hand over within 24 hours to the signalling team to obviously start their testing from one end to the other and commission. Again, saying the work had to be completed in 2 shifts. Stats, 230 metres of track realignment, 430 of track tamping, 22 glue joints, 7 GIJs installed, not to mention the ones that we removed, 62 wells in total, 400 tonnes of ballast, 3,580 man hours was completed. And again, I think the 2 shifts was really only a shift and a half because I had the signal electricians and the testing commissioning manager just chasing me everywhere. So I think the Monday after, despite how tired we all were, a whole bunch of us went up to Southern Cross Drive because it had the best view. John Holland and ARTC went up and saw the first trains run on both tracks. So I think that was at like 7:30 in the morning. So it was quite humbling to see after all the blood, sweat and actual tears. I cried on this job. It's normal. All girls cry, I'm sure men do too. Okay, that was it.
Well done. Take it, Tim. Thanks. Of course you keep that. Thank you, T, and another round of applause. Fantastic. So just quickly before I hand back to Matt, yeah, look, Young Achiever Award will be occurring next year. Nominations will be early 2026. So managers who are in this room, please make sure your younger people get out there and get sorted. It'll be awarded at the ARA Awards in September next year. And yeah, looking forward to a large number of entries. Please, if you don't put anything in, you've got no chance of winning the prize. Thanks. Matt, to you.
Thanks, Julian.